All right, guys, so we're going to start this stream tonight. It's April 1st, a day that I hate, whatever. I'm El Supersonic Q, and here we are with a live stream. Haven't done one of these in a while, but feels kind of cool to get back into them. I think, like I said before, the way that I like handling these is I just do them as I feel like doing them and not dedicating myself to them every week. So kind of exciting to be back in the live stream circuit. And yeah, we're going to talk about whatever, some big topics. Obviously, hating on April Fool's Day. I got the Comic-Con tomorrow that I'm looking forward to. I might be going to another convention after Comic-Con in a couple months. That's on the table. I could probably talk about that more later on. Clay Models 12, of course, which didn't get out when it was supposed to. I don't even have that Comic-Con Models video out, and it was supposed to be out today. It will be out today, but probably just like a lot later on. But that's a thing too. And Big's Big Fishing Adventure 3 and SA3. What else is relevant? What other Nintendo thing? Well, Jack's Pacific figures are always relevant. They had a thing at WonderCon. Jack's Cheese, hey! What's up, Jack's Cheese? Now you gotta tell me how you're going, or how that project is going. The Zelda Maker that's not Zelda Maker anymore, where you're doing the music for it. You got to tell me about that, because I've been meaning to ask you about it, and the last time I was on Skype, I forgot to ask you, so you got to let me know how that's going. Mario 412, hey, what's up? So we got a pretty good crowd right now. This is the fastest turnaround I think I've ever gotten a couple viewers right off the bat when I started streaming and stuff. And we were on time tonight. We were on time. It was like, if it wasn't exactly 6:30, it was like 6:31 or 6:32. We weren't running terribly late because I've been budgeting my time a lot. X Slayer 6, hello, what's up, X Slayer? Man, we got it packed already. So, yeah, guys, just as always, the stream is pretty much just run by the viewer questions or viewer comments or whatever. So, anything you guys want to just talk about, just shoot the question and I'll answer it to the best of my ability, and we'll have a good discussion going on and stuff. So, all right. So Jackson said in reply, or Jax Cheese said in reply to my question about the Zelda Maker project that he was doing the music for, still moving along. It's going to start fundraising next month, and there'll be a little demo that you can try out if you want. It's pretty hype. Awesome. I'm going to try that demo once it gets out. So you're doing the music for the demo too, I assume, which is going to be cool because, oh man, it's just, I'm still really jealous that you got to be a part of such a cool project, but that's good. That is fundraising going to be on Kickstarter or something like that. I think that's where games go to get funded. I know there's a Kickstarter and there's like GoFundMe. No, I think Kickstarter is the way to go, but that's cool. That's exciting. X Slayer 6 says, any tips for growing a channel, and have you been making any clay models? Oh man, any tips for growing a channel? Where do I start with that? I feel like a lot of the stuff I'm going to say is a little bit hypocritical, because I've been really trying to grow and expand my channel for years. I started way back in 2009 when YouTube was like just starting out. It was, well, not just starting out, but it definitely wasn't what it, is nowadays. And it was a lot easier back then when there were less users doing content and stuff. Because obviously, I still credit myself with starting the whole video game clay thing on YouTube. And my videos got a lot of views, a lot of attention. Nowadays, it's a lot harder for me to grow the channel because so many other people are doing the clay. So the best tip I can give you for growing a channel is probably, well, I guess it would largely depend on what your focus of content is. In my opinion, you could do one of two things. One is to focus on the content that not a lot of people are putting out right now. So I can't just pretend pretend indie games weren't a big thing, okay? Pretend that all the big indie game channels weren't a thing. You could play indie games, be the first one to do such, and then hope that within time a community will grow around, your channel. The other thing you could do is use kind of the opposite of doing a channel that no one's done yet, is to focus on big topics, mainstream topics. I have a vlog channel that you can find if you on the sidebar of my El Supersonic Q channel. It's called Sincerely Me. I don't know if any of you guys check it out, but the only reason why that channel has the decent amount of views it does is because the topics that I make vlogs on are really big topics that people are going to click on, like amiibo figures, Jack specific figures, and a lot of really big things like that that come up in search results because people are searching for it. So I would say those are the two biggest ways to grow the channel. Aside from that, and this is kind of where I'm going to sound hypocritical, is you just kind of got to go with it. You got to, I've been doing this since 2009, like I said. I've really wanted to stop at certain points because it's just gotten so tedious to keep going with content. So while it's a struggle, you just got to keep going because within the past, I usually get about 100 subs a month or so, give or take. So yeah, it's a really slow climb up that hill, but within a year you'll have 1,000 subs at that rate. So you just got to keep going with it, which can be one of the hardest things to do, but sometimes you just got to do it. And have I been making any new clay models? Yeah, I'll have a new video on later tonight of about 25 or 22 actually new models that I'm going to sell at a Comic-Con tomorrow. And Clay Models 12, I've been going with that, which features some more larger, more elegant models. So those two are going, but I'll have some new clay on tonight for you guys to see. All right, so Mario 412 asks, any thoughts on SNES games being exclusive to the new 3DS? I think that's actually a good idea. Now, I say that largely not being a huge SNES fan myself, but the reason why I think it's a good idea is because it gives the people who bought a new 3DS more reason to get a new 3D, or it gives them more validation for their purchase. Because when they announced the new 3DS, I'm like, what is the point of this system? They just came out with the XL not that long ago and they're already revamping the system. It's like, when is Nintendo going to stop doing this? And up until a point, there was literally no point in getting the new 3DS because all you could play is Xenoblade. But what's really the point of one exclusive you could just get on the Wii? I know the disc is rare, you could argue, but what was the point of it? The only point I saw in getting that is if you didn't have a 3DS yet, then you get the newest version. So the fact that they're giving you SNES games is great because, like I said, it's more reason to buy it. And that's kind of cool. Think about it, having Mario World on the go, Earthbound on the go, F-Zero on the go, because up to this point you couldn't do that. So now that you can, I think it's great. And it would be cool if for Nintendo's future handhelds they kept that kind of capability in their handhelds where where anybody can play SNES games or any kind of games they want to emulate. And then, X Slayer asked from before, have you played Big Fishing Adventure 3? I actually did. I did do that. Pat Mac, kind of another one of my viewers, linked me to it. I didn't know if it was actually going to be a real game, and I hadn't looked for it, so I'm like, Pat Mac, is this a real game? And it was. I played through it. I'll be honest, I didn't like a whole lot of the idea of it just kind of being a joke game when we should be getting confirmation for Sonic Adventure 3. But at the end of the day, it was fun. In the sense that some of the references they were using, some of the locations, like being on the Space Colony Arc and Station Square, and some of the things like that I thought was kind of charming, and how it was like on a Sega Master System or Sega Genesis controller, whatever. I just wanted a bigger, blatant SA3 is coming hint, and I didn't really get that, but I don't know, for what it was, I guess I'll take it. Jack's Cheese said it'll be on Kickstarter, from when I asked earlier where it would be. And yeah, the music in the demo will be mine. I might put in a few tracks on Bandcamp to promote it as well. That would be a good idea because I still have like the links to your Bandcamp in my big clay collection video, which I should start using. I know you made me an outro. I should start using the outro or the intro in my videos. Whenever I make videos, I usually just don't even bother putting the outro or intro in it because usually somewhere in it I say ML Supersonic Q, but I'll definitely check that out when it comes out. And then Jack Cesar said, also Earthbound on 3DS hype. That is pretty hype, yeah. Now we only just need Mother 3, which the rumors are speculating this E3, Jackson. Mother 3 could happen. And Philip the Hedgehog 64, hello again. Hey, what's up, Philip? Glad you could join us. And Jackson, time to buy a 3DS. Yeah, if they had, I still think, like you've said before, if they had an Earthbound collection on the 3DS, that would be a huge selling point for a lot of people, I feel like. Because you get the people who, like yourself, who don't have 3DSs already, you could, you'd be willing to get a 3DS. And then I'm sure, people who, where was I getting at it? And then people who, or maybe, well, then the game would sell to people who already have 3DSs, which is what I'm saying, because Earthbound's big from Smash. So that's what I would say. Mario 412, Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and GoFundMe are the major funding websites. Yeah, that those ring a bell. Kickstarter, I'm mostly familiar with. I think I mentioned GoFundMe and Indiegogo. That sounds right. Xslayer says I'll be sure to check that out, and I do have some amiibos. Yeah, the amiibos. Once you get into the amiibo trap, you can't get out. And he also says he doesn't think he's going to buy the new 3DS. Don't think I'll upgrade to a new 3DS. Yeah, I wouldn't. If you already have the old one, I wouldn't bother. Getting a new one. I just don't think it's worth it. Mario 412 says, "Oh, and the Binding of Isaac Rebirth for PS4. It's amazing." Back when the Binding of Isaac was kind of just starting out, I knew a lot of kids in school who played it, and it just didn't seem that appealing to me. I'm not sure if it was because of the type of kids that were playing it or just the game itself, but I just wasn't a huge fan of it. And Xslayer says he still needs to play Big Fish Adventure 3. Yeah, it's kind of fun. I mean, it's nice for a laugh. Don't take it too seriously. Not that anyone would, but I don't know. That's kind of the thing with me is I try to have fun with the memes that's Sonic and that kind of thing. I try to have fun with it, but it's really hard to have fun with it when Sonic Adventure 3 isn't confirmed and Sega's in the state that they are. It's like, should we really be memeing Sonic every day? But maybe that's just me being an elitist, as someone called me on Twitter. Mario 412 says, Mother 1 + 2 + 3 is still available in my mind. That would be great if it was. I think I'm kind of just backing all the Mother stuff because I know how dedicated the fan base is. Personally, for me, Earthbound is cool because, Earthbound is cool because I like the graphics and kind of the music and stuff. I watched my brother play through the whole thing, so I probably wouldn't actually pick it up myself. Mother 1 I bought myself on the eShop, and I played through some of it. I just really don't like it. I'm sorry, Jackson. I just don't like Mother 1. Just something about it being on the NES just doesn't really work a whole lot for me. But Mother 3 I would be excited to play because of all the, everything about it. I would buy that on the eShop and stuff. I can't imagine it being worse than Mother 1, so. Philip says, "Hi, LSSQ. Remember me from the other stream?" I do remember you, Philip. I do, yeah. We had a good time. That was way back. It must have been a few months ago. It was like you, a couple of other people, and it was a pretty good small chat we had going on. So I'm glad you can make it back. Xslayer says, Binding of Isaac is okay. Yeah. Jack's Cheese, Mother 3 is pretty much confirmed for NA Wii U Virtual Console, but 3DS would be cool. Obviously, we'll take it on Virtual Console, but I just think it would be good on handheld because Mother 3 was on GBA, so I don't know why they couldn't just port them to handheld. They made it a new 3DS exclusive. Oh man, they'd have a lot of people upgrading, I bet. Jack's Cheese, Binding of Isaac is okay, but the physics seemed really slippery. I couldn't get into it. Also, the art style is not my thing. It's kind of gross. I think that now that you point out the art style specifically, yeah, that's something that I remember watching. There's a lot of kind of weird blood and a lot of strange worm creatures. I don't know. It was just really, really weird. Definitely not a game I was into even watching people play and it was kind of Zelda based, if I recall right. Where you had, when you were in dungeons, there was a map screen and you went around to the different rooms and stuff. I remember that being a thing too, but yeah, I don't know. Mario 412 says, I'm currently playing the DS port of Chrono Trigger. Why have I not played it sooner? Yeah, oh man, Chrono Trigger. I was going to say, because if you want it on the SNES, you'd be paying $90 or $100 or whatever the eBay going rate is now for that. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of RPGs. I know Jack's Cheese knows a lot about Chrono Trigger and things like that. Those are definitely his kind of games. I don't know. I know a little bit about Chrono Trigger and stuff, and I'm pretty sure it's one of the best. Oh, Jack's Cheese, dude! Chrono Trigger is my favorite. Glad more people are still trying it. Yeah, I knew that was the game you were into. For me, I'm just not really into the RPGs and stuff, but I know that it was really acclaimed and it goes for a lot on eBay and stuff. So I don't know, man. Xslayer needs to play Chrono Trigger badly. Philip says the Binding of Isaac is pretty gross. Yeah, I think we can mostly all come to a consensus on that. That Binding of Isaac it's pretty gross. Philip says, "Could you believe how much people are paying for that game on SNES?" Yeah, it's really crazy. The retro game prices are just going higher and higher, and it kind of a shame because I don't know, for some reason recently I've really had the liking to retro game. Jack's Cheese, I was talking to you the other day on Skype about good games on the Genesis. But I really wanted to get into some retro games and stuff, but just the amount of money it would take to invest into a completely new system, like even just something like NES. Okay, I was just thinking about NES the other day and stuff. Contra, I've never played Contra. I've never owned an NES. I've only played Super Mario Bros. And I guess Metroid, Kid Icarus, the main NES titles, Punch Out. Well, I guess all the ones in Animal Crossing on GameCube. But I mean, I've never played like the really big classic NES, third-party games like Contra and stuff. And I thought that it would be cool to start an NES collection or whatever. For some reason, I've really been into Neo Geo for some reason. Metal Slug looks great. I thought it'd be so cool to have a Neo Geo, but I know Neo Geo is a little bit different because it was, largely a system for running arcade ports, like direct arcade ports. It's a little different, but NES is, Contra shouldn't be a $40 game, So I just haven't gotten into retro games. I guess I'll stick to the Virtual Console for that, but kind of disappointing that I can't actually play them on their system, their original system. Mario 412 says the DS version is the best. It has all the extra dungeons. The loading times are non-existent. It's all good. Then Jack's Cheese says they redid the translation, also made it a bit more faithful to the original, which is cool. Nice. That sounds cool. I wouldn't have thought the DS version to be better than the original, but it sounds like it is. X-Slayer says, gotta go. I gotta go, guys. Later, enjoy the rest of the stream. Well, thanks, X-Slayer6 for showing up. So I appreciate that. And I'll talk to you sometime. Philip says, or how much people are paying for a used copy of Mario Kart 64. Yeah, N64 games are just on the rise. It's the 20th anniversary of N64 this year, and now's the time that N64 games are really gaining momentum. So it's funny though, because just learning more about retro games and stuff, I guess there aren't a whole lot of like really coveted. Like I know for a lot of different older systems, there are a lot of different tiers of rare games, but for NES, it's like most of them are just first-party regular games, and then the rest are like just sports games and junk. That's learning about the N64 library. That's what I've heard, is that there's like 3 or 4 or 5 really rare, expensive games. Then you have the first-party games, and then the rest is just like junk. So how about the new Paper Mario game? Philip asks. Mario 412 says, "Oh, you mean the Sticker Stars sequel?" Well, this is something that Shaganian, if he was here, he would have a lot to say about that. For me, I kind of, because Paper Mario was an RPG, and I played Thousand Year Door way back when when it first came out. I'm not a super huge Paper Mario fan, but I do realize that I enjoyed playing through. Even though I say I'm not a huge or Paper Mario fan, I did enjoy Thousand Year Door. It was a fun game, and I respect the N64 one. And kind of the point is, I get exactly what the fans are saying, exactly what they're saying with how this is just another gimmick game. Because I'll be honest, just from what it looked like, yeah, it didn't look like it was the Thousand Year Door 2 people wanted. For me personally, I'm not really torn up about it because, like I said, I'm not a huge Paper Mario fan. I think it sucks for the core fans that don't like it, because then I look at a game like Metroid. We're getting Shiganian. Oh, you're here, dude. It was okay. Anyway, but the Paper Mario. So, just the thing I was saying is that, like, for Metroid, I wanted Metroid Prime 4, and we get Federation Force. So on that level of not getting what the series should be, I understand. But personally, I'm not too hurt about it because I don't play Paper Mario a whole lot anyway. But I understand what the what the core fans don't like about it. So I was honestly surprised when I saw it at the thing, though, at the Direct. I'm like, oh, cool, new Paper Mario game. Visually, it looks nice. But I probably won't pick it up. I still haven't picked up Mario Maker, and yeah, I know a lot of people didn't like it, and how it was just kind of thrown in there. I feel like they kind of did that to surprise us, to put us off guard, even though there were rumors that there was a Paper Mario game in the works for Wii U, but I think everyone kind of forgot about it. But I don't know. I just I thought, like I said, it was going to be kind of like a surprise thing, but when people kind of got onto it, yeah, it seemed more like just let's throw it in there because it's Paper Mario and we can just use it to, you know, just kind of be a casual game now and kind of, not have it be a core RPG series, which people kind of think, well, what's the core RPG Mario series now? Is it the Mario and Luigi series, which I guess they're still making games for that. So I guess it kind of is, and Paper Mario is more like the casual one now. And then way back in the mid '90s, we had Super Mario RPG, which never saw a sequel. I think it would have been cool though if Mario RPG had a Mario RPG 2. So that would have been interesting. Maybe Gino would have had a more relevant role in things. Gino or Mallow. So I'm curious about this. Shiganian says, "What did you like about it?" Philip says it made him cry. And then Mario said, "As a game, I liked the sticker mechanics and Sticker Star, even though battles were coin bags. However, as a Paper Mario game, it's not what I would have liked." Okay, so you're kind of taking it as a good game, just not a good game to the Paper Mario series. I get that. I feel like that's a good argument to series that I don't hold near and dear to me. If someone said that about Federation Force, that it's a good game, just not a good Metroid game, I'd say, nah. Federation Force, nah. Get that out of here, no. But all right, I get what you're saying though, in all realisticness. Philip says, "I didn't like Sticker Star because you could run out of attacks. I never played Sticker Star or Super Paper Mario on the Wii, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, I've only heard really bad things about Sticker Star and stuff. For the most part. And I remember Shiganian telling me that they originally had like a story for the game, like an in-depth story, and then Shigeru Miyamoto's like, nah, we don't do stories in Paper Mario anymore. What are you talking about? And they cut the whole story element from it. So then, it becomes just a mindless game that doesn't even have RPG, mechanics anymore. And then it's like, But I don't know. Philip says more like Metroid Prime Salt Force. See, I mean, I don't want to be one of those people who I wouldn't even say I'm a huge Metroid fan. There's a lot of Metroid games I haven't even played, or a lot of Metroid games, kind of like Star Fox. I really don't like 64, and if you're a Star Fox fan, you don't like 64. Oh, you're shunned. Kind of like well, for Metroid, it's a little different because there's the Super Metroid fan base, and then there's like the Metroid Prime fan base, and both of them are kind of have their own sides. But Star Fox is a little bit more split. You're either with 64 and the 1997 fanboys, or you're against them and you're shunned. With Metroid, like I said, there's kind of two different fan bases. But anyway, the point is, I don't want to be one of the people who just hates on Federation Force just because it's the popular thing to do. Because like hating on Sonic 06 is the popular thing to do because it's Sonic 06. No, just I'm looking at this more of from like a market standpoint and a consumer standpoint. Okay, I bought a Wii U, and I've said this before. I bought a Wii U with the intentions of Nintendo supplying me with all their core first-party titles. Mario platformer, a Zelda game, a Metroid game, a Star Fox game, maybe a Pikmin game. I'm probably forgetting a couple, but you get the idea. And when we go almost a whole console generation without a Zelda, a Metroid, or a Star Fox, and then they give us a Metroid, it's on 3DS, and it's not even a core game, and we don't get anything on Wii U, it's like, what are they thinking? How do they see this as an acceptable replacement to a Metroid Wii U game? Maybe they don't see it as a replacement. I mean, I just don't know why they would not do a Metroid on Wii U, especially when there was, just look back at the GameCube. 2 Metroid, 2 Star Foxes, 2 Zeldas, and now this generation we can't even get one of each on the console. There's something wrong with that. And Philip also says he still needs Rayman Legends. Played a demo with that at GameStop once, I think. It was okay, but I'm not a huge Rayman fan. I kind of like the older look to Rayman games, and when I have time and money, I'll get Rayman 3 on GameCube or whatever it is. So, Jack's Cheese says, I liked 64 and Assault. Maybe 64 a bit better just because I like the aesthetic, but I couldn't understand liking one and being totally against the other. Yeah, which is pretty much the Star Fox fan base. I've just, in all my Star Fox ventures online, I don't know, if you like Assault or any of those on foot modes, you're shunned. The fan base is literally so divided with it's not even like it spreads across all the games. It's like 64, which arguably the biggest Star Fox release, and then Assault, arguably the biggest going away from the core point of the series. And I see you mentioned Adventures, Philip, but I think most people count that in its own field, as do I, because it was a rare thing. It was going to be released under a different title on the N64, Dinosaur Planet. They reworked it into Star Fox. You could argue it's not canon to the main, like Star Fox, Shigeru Miyamoto, like legit series or whatever. But it's really divided when it comes to 64 and Assault. And I think maybe one of the reasons why I don't like 64 so much is just because of the fan base, because I like Assault more. And when I see the 64 people saying, well, Assault sucks, that makes me just want to say, well, 64 sucks. I don't know. There's something about the on-foot mode that I just enjoyed a lot because it felt more like, not that Star Fox is supposed to be a shooter game, but I mean, like in that sense. But I just like that with the different weapons, the different changes, the rolling, the dodging. I just like that. So, Mario says, sticker star in a nutshell. A sassy clown tells you to get the MacGuffins, and you get them. Bowser does a thing, and you fight. Bowser doesn't even have funny dialogue. Oh, wait, he doesn't speak in sticker star. Well, that's a pretty good in a nutshell, because it sounds exactly like just about everything else I've heard about the game. Really nothing great about it at all. It was a John blah, blah, blah. Can't speak now. JonTron reference. I would not know. I don't watch JonTron. Jack's Cheese says I should try SNES Star Fox sometime. Don't know why no one ever talks about that one. I would like to try that one too. I think it's interesting, and if I could get into retro games for not a lot of money, I probably would bother to get a Star Fox and try it out on. Oh, it's not even on the Virtual Console or anything either. But yeah, I agree. I think that'd be really cool. I don't know why people don't talk about it. Maybe just because it's so obscure, and it was like the very first of its kind. And I don't know. Yeah, you're right. I agree with that though. In Star Fox Zero, though, I don't know if you guys know, if you tap the Fox amiibo, you can turn your R-Wing into the blocky design of the SNES version. So that's kind of cool. I'll probably do that at some point. And if you tap Falcon, you'll get a black R-Wing. Oh, ho, ho. Philip says he loves Star Fox SNES. Yeah, it looks like a really cool game, especially if you were like into games back around that time and you played that, you played that firsthand when it came out. I could just imagine how exciting that was for people back in the day. It also reminds me of the canceled Virtual Boy Star Fox game. Now, that happened too. So yeah, that's kind of cool. I forgot my water again, but that's okay because it's a good meme. So, man, that was a lot of talking for half an hour. Philip says my friend Logan has that one. Oh, Star Fox SNES? That's really cool then. Your friend has a retro system. Philip says he doesn't have the Fox amiibo. Well, they're pretty abundant now, so if you really wanted to get one, you could get your hands on one pretty easily. I got mine way back on Smash Wii U launch day in 2014. And when they were rare for a point, I was like, yeah, I got a rare amiibo. And now they're really common, and I'm like, it's not rare anymore. Mario says, anyone for Five Nights at Freddy's 57, Freddy in Space? I'm not. I am not ready for any more Five Nights at Freddy's. I've always said this about the franchise, that when Five Nights 3 came out, that should have been when Five Nights 2 came out. And the fourth one probably shouldn't even be out by now. And see, it's so funny because that game isn't even a game that I think is, well, the third game and the fourth game I don't like. The first and the second games are pretty good. Just see, and this is something else that I hate too, is the overwhelming mentality of the fan bases before the games. Like, see, okay, Philip, you say they're all horrible. I see. I don't want to say that the first and second games are bad because I played them when they came out and I enjoyed them. But the only reason why I would never say that in public or in a discussion about games is because people wouldn't think about you saying, "Well, I like the first game because it was good." People wouldn't think about that in the terms of a game. They would think about that in terms of the fan base, and they'd say, "Oh, how do you like that?" Because the fan base is so freaking annoying, and they're just I don't even know how to express kind of what I'm trying to say, but it's more about hating the fan base, in my opinion, than hating the actual game. Because if the game never blew up, because could you like I know that I can't really compare Shovel Knight to something like Five Nights, but could you imagine if Markiplier played Shovel Knight and Shovel Knight got as big as Five Nights and you had all these 10-year-olds? Like I said, probably wouldn't happen, but could you imagine it? Could you imagine Shovel Knight being one of these games that people were like, oh, just stop talking about it and stuff? And Five Nights was more the indie horror game that it was meant to be. I mean, that's kind of the thing. Is that what I'm saying? So I feel like it's more the fan base and not really the game itself. Jax G says, I'm running into the same problem you described with Undertale. Yeah, I forgot about Undertale. Undertale is another thing too. You can, I'm gonna be honest. Just because I'm on the can't talk again, you guys, just stuttering. I'm on the Miiverse pretty frequently, and when I see people in the Smash community, now these are obviously 10-year-olds, posting about Sans and Smash Bros. And Undertale this, Undertale that, okay? It makes me hate the game because of the people who are the fans of it. Because I always go to those things, people think Sans and Smash, I always comment like this isn't the place for your pipe dream characters. Sans would never be in Smash. I sorry if anybody does that, but I just don't like it because I just don't like how these fans go about promoting, because they shove it down your throat. It's like, if I want to talk about Undertale, I'll go online or go to the YouTube community on the Miiverse or something like that. Don't go to the Smash community and post about your Undertale RP, okay? Just don't do it. And it's people like that then when I hear someone out at the mall talk about Undertale, I turn to them and I say, oh, I hate that game. And why? Not because I hate the game, because I hate the fans behind the game. Philip says, okay, they're mediocre, but the fan base is complete garbage. Yeah. But Five Nights is dead now, and the new indie game with the crap fan base is on tail. I think Scott can revive Five Nights anytime he wants. There's the movie that's supposed to be coming out. There's massive merchandising coming out. If he wanted to make a new game, which he probably will, when it comes out, I guarantee you he'll garner just as many fans as he did for the first few games. Mario says, oh, I think already Undertale is slowly turning into that. Yeah. Shigandian Undertale is already that. Mario, and I'm a part of that, helped me. Philip, the game was okay. I think talking about Undertale, though. Mario, so much cringe, I can't escape it. Philip says, isn't all the merchandise unlicensed? No. Funko acquired the Five Nights license, and they're coming out with small minifigures, larger 4-inch figures, plushes, little trading figures, candy, emoji pillows, like name it, and they're coming out with it. So they're finally kind of picking up the merchandise train with that. And actually, we're seeing some official things now. Whereas before, before when it was Five Nights 1 and 2, it was all fan stuff. Jax Cheese says, I was pretty hyped when it came out because it's sort of my kind of game and the kind of game that usually doesn't gain mainstream success. And then it's actually really good too. But you can't associate yourself with liking the game without getting shoehorned into the fan base. That's a very accurate statement. Yeah, I agree completely. I'm trying to think of another example where there was a game that like I didn't mind the fan base for, but I know other people don't, and I constantly have to defend my point against the fan. And I can't think of any games where I'm on like the opposite side of the spectrum. The most I can say is Smash, I guess. To a certain extent, I mean, I'm not a huge competitive Smash buff, except when it comes to Smash 4, I guess. But generally speaking, I'm not really into the competitive Smash community. So, being someone who plays Smash and talks about Smash and does videos about Smash a lot, when I see people talk about the competitive Smash fan base as being elitists and stuff, and like, oh, you take all the fun out of the game with the competitive stuff, even though I'm not really into the competitive part a whole lot, because I play the game, I feel the need to defend that and be like, well, just because you don't like, I tell these people like, well, just don't watch the tournaments, don't pay attention to, wave dashing and all the technical play. Just play the game yourself. Like, don't, whatever. So, but I guess that's me being on the other side of the spectrum. But from their point, it's like maybe Smash is a more polarizing thing though, because it's broken up into so many different subgroups. So I'm gonna stop talking. Mario says, "Oh, story of my life with what Jackson said." Jax Cheese. Philip says, "Undertale is baby's first bullet hell." Undertale is an RPG though. Maybe I'm not getting the reference. Mario says, Homestuck and Undertale trash. I only know a little bit about Homestuck. Some people I used to talk to in high school would play it. I don't know like anything about it, but I know that it's some kind of like MS Paint cartoon or something. So I don't really know, but again, that's kind of something that I wouldn't really be into. But I don't know how some people get really into that. Proceed with caution. From Undertale and Homestuck. I agree, Mario. Philip says, on an unrelated note, Halo 5 is pretty corny. I don't know anything about Halo, but this actually brings up another point. And then it'll get to Batman vs Superman after. Philip, I see you mentioned that. Okay. So about Halo 5, and this is kind of something else that I kind of feel the need to defend myself against. A long time ago, I think I remember this. I was at one of my friend's house, and this was a long time ago, and we were playing Halo. And I think one of them asked me if I wanted to play or something. And I don't think I was like a party pooper, because before that we played Smash, or we were going to play Smash or something. And they asked me like, "Oh, do you want to play Halo?" And I'm just like, "No, I don't like Halo." And they said to me something like, "Well, have you ever played it before?" And I know this is like a paradox kind of argument, but I said, no, I haven't played it before because it's a game that doesn't appeal to me. Now, I feel like when you say that as an answer, you have to be careful with what you say. Because if you say you don't like the game, you say, I haven't played it because I don't like it, then the other person can say, well, how do you know you don't like it if you haven't played it? But the thing with me is, when I say I haven't played a game because it doesn't appeal to me, I feel like that's a different kind of argument. I'm not into first-person shooters. I don't like first-person shooters. With Minecraft, I don't like sandbox games. I just don't like it. So I'm not against those games because I haven't experienced them. I'm against them because it's a genre I don't like. And that's a big difference between just not liking a game because you haven't played it. But that's something that I don't think they understood at the time, or that a lot of people nowadays understand. And they say, well, how do you know you don't like it if you haven't played it? And you say it's because it's not a genre that I'm into. I'm thinking of maybe an example where there's a genre that I'm not into where I ended up playing the game from it and I ended up liking it. I don't really know. Um, I don't know. I just kind of to throw this out there. I could argue not first person shooters, but like arcade shooters. For some reason now, I just getting into retro games. For some reason, I think retro shooter games like space shooters are just look so dang cool. And that's a genre that I'm sure a few months ago, when I was playing, I don't know, whatever I was playing a few months ago, someone would have said, "Oh, try this space shooter," and I would have been like, "No, I'm not into space shooters. Not that I have anything against them. I'm not into them, so I wouldn't have tried it." But now over time, for whatever reason, because I'm into retro shooters for some reason, I'm like, "Oh, okay, I've naturally taken an interest in this. Let's play a game genre I've never played before, but suddenly I have an interest in." It's just preference and the way things are. I don't think anyone should call you out because you don't play the game. You don't know you're not going to like it. No, there's a reason. Jack's cheese. I'm so happy getting into shmups. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it came from. I just for some reason with getting into retro games, the past couple weeks that I have been the shmups just for some reason something is just very nostalgic to me, which doesn't make sense because I wasn't around during the times when these games were big in the arcades and when they were big on NES and SNES and Genesis. But for some reason they just have some kind of charm to me. I want to try out, and I want to get Truxton. That game looks so good. I really want to get that. And um kind of branching off from Truxton and stuff, I've looked into other genres of Genesis games and other old school games and stuff. I want to get Clay Fighter on the Genesis. Why? Because it looks fun. I don't know. Um, there were a couple other games too. I wanted to get as well. I wanted to get Lightning Force because that looked interesting too. I want to try a few different shooters. There was one, I think it was on the Genesis. It was called Star Soldier or Star something. I think it was on Genesis. I was watching a video and someone showed it, and the cover looked kind of cool. Yeah, I haven't even looked at the gameplay yet, but just the cover looked cool. Or did he show gameplay? I don't know, but it looked cool, something like that. And then there was another shooter too. I don't remember what system it was for. It may have been on Neo Geo or some other system like that. But yeah, I'm really into shmups right now for some reason. I just gotta get Truxton for a good price. After Comic-Con tomorrow, I'll start looking on eBay for decent auction prices, and I'll try and get that game because I really want to play it. I want to play it on Genesis. All right, Philip, I'm gonna get to your Batman and Superman thing because I want to point on that. But you guys talk about Comic Zone. Believe it or not, I've played Comic Zone. Where did I play it? On my very second day of working at GameStop, someone traded in a PlayStation, I believe, or it was, I think it was an Xbox actually, and they had Sonic's Genesis collection on Xbox. And when people trade in systems, you have to test the system. And the game that he had, we're like, well, let's just test the system with the game he had. So we put it in, and then it was my second day on the job. I was like, eh. So one of the managers or whatever, she's like, "Hey, Rob, you're gonna test the game for us. See if this console is in working shape." And he's like, "Oh, have you played Decap Attack?" And I'm like, "I actually have played that. I have it on card." And he's like, "Oh, okay. Have you played Comic Zone?" I'm like, "I have not played Comic Zone." He's like, "Oh, it's a beat 'em up game," and blah, blah, blah. So I played it. I played it for a little bit, and he's like, "Oh, you're definitely gonna die before you get through any of the game." And yeah, I ended up dying because I don't know how to use Xbox controllers, and it was my first time playing the game. But I have played Comic Zone, and I have heard very good things about it. Jax G says, "I'm not a big beat 'em up guy, but I like Comic Zone. Aesthetics. Oh, aesthetic is way ahead of its time. Amazing for Genesis. The graphics were pretty cool, and I really liked how it was set up like a comic book. I thought that was so cool, and I never would have. It's called Comic Zone, but I never would have thought it was set up like that. So I thought that was really cool when I played it. It was fun. But I think I don't know. I probably wouldn't end up getting that game. There's some other beat 'em ups I want before that. I've been looking into. Oh man, what is it? I think it's Streets of Rage. I've been looking into that, um, just because I've heard of it. And Jackson, maybe you can give me some insight on this. I know you said you're not huge into beat 'em ups, but is Streets of Rage 1, 2, or 3 better? From what I've read online, Streets of Rage 2, I think, was the best. Like most people agree that 2 was the best, but I'm not sure. And also, Turtles in Time, I heard is a really good arcade port, and it's a beat 'em up. I don't have an SNES though, so I would have to get the one on Genesis, which isn't Turtles in Time. I forget what it's called, but it's still really good, but it's not as good as Turtles in Time. But I thought about getting that too because I thought that would be fun to play. So, um, while I wait for replies from the Genesis stuff, Batman vs Superman. Oh, where do I start? I I haven't seen the movie, but I have heard a lot of bad things about it, and I heard that it got really bad scores on Rotten Tomato. So I think, okay, from what my understanding is, DC is doing the reverse of the Avengers. So what the Avengers did was do movies for all the separate characters over the course of a few years, and it all led up to the Avengers, and it was a big deal. What this movie sounds like is they're kind of starting the Justice League without having all the other characters have their own movies. I think I heard this right, where they have this Dawn of Justice movie, and after this movie, they're going to do, well, they already had the Superman one, but they're going to do a standalone Wonder Woman one, and they're going to do a standalone Batman one. And then I think I forget what they were going to do after that, but I think that's what they're doing now. And you would think, why would you do that? You should have established the characters better and then had them to come together for the movie. I think that's one of the issues among many others. I heard the movie was really dark. It wasn't like the character's personality. It was dark. It wasn't a a very good movie in that sense. I heard that kind of the plot was weird. Like Superman and Batman were fighting. It was Batman v Superman, but then Doomsday or whatever his name was, Lex Luthor, then they came, and then Wonder Woman came, and they're like, oh, we have to go fight the greater enemy now, and then the whole plot changed. Personally, for me, when I first heard the movie was announced, I thought it was just going to be like some kind of comic book fantasy, Batman versus Superman, just duking it out, an all-out war for no reason, and for some reason, I just thought that would be exciting to see in cinema. I'm not sure if that goes against comic book canon or if it even matters, but I thought that would be a really cool movie to see or whatever. And then when it was revealed that it was going to be more along the lines of like, the Justice League, whatever, like, okay. But yeah, I haven't heard good things about it at all. I probably won't see. I would want to see it to know what I'm missing out on, but then again, people tell me not to see it because it sucks. So I guess I'm not gonna see it. I just continue to hear the bad reviews. So Jax G says Streets of Rage is pretty cool. I think most people think 2 is the best. I actually liked 1 a lot though. All right, so it's definitely 3 is definitely out. So it's a toss up between 1 and 2. Maybe I'll watch some gameplay and see which one I like better, and then buy it based off of which game I just like the looks of better. So, all right, I'll look into that one. I guess on Sunday when I have money in the bank, or more money in the bank. Mario says, anyone know where I can get Rhythm Heaven DS for really cheap? Jack Shee's Rhythm Heaven is so good. Love that game. I played a demo of Rhythm Heaven way back when the original Wii, had the DS download service. You could go to the Nintendo channel and you could download demos from the Nintendo channel through the internet to your DS through Download Play. I played Rhythm Heaven on that. It's the only time I think I played Rhythm Heaven. It was kind of fun, but I don't know, like kind of going back to what I said earlier, I'm just not into rhythm games for some reason, or at least not right now. I'm not into rhythm games. I remember it being fun and charming, but I don't think I could play through a whole game like that. Unless maybe if I got it on the Wii where there was more like movement, maybe I just wasn't digging the stylus thing. Maybe I just didn't feel like there was enough movement going on, but maybe something like on the Wii would be better. But as to where to get a cheap copy, no idea. You could just, I mean, if you want one like all sealed, I guess. I don't know if you want one loose or sealed, but my best suggestion would probably be go on eBay, apply the filters like maybe buy it now, newly listed, and then just kind of refine your search with more specific details. And then one might pop up for relatively cheap. I think that's the best way to go. And I think that's what I'm going to have to do to get Truxton. I'm just going to have to search newly listed first, buy it nows, and then just search every few days or so and hope that one pops up for below, the price that, they're going for. Because DS games, there are some DS games I want, but even loose, they go for a lot of money. Well, mostly I just need Pokemon Ranger to get Manaphy, so I can have all the Pokemon from the first 5 generations of the game. But I need one sealed because the used ones, you can only use them. Oh, I don't know why. The thing with Pokemon Ranger is the Manaphy egg. You can only get Manaphy in Pokemon Ranger, and the Manaphy egg is only in new copies of the game. Well, it could be in a used one if someone didn't use it, but you're never going to be able to tell if someone didn't use it until you buy the game. So I might as well just buy a new one, but new copies go between $70 and $120 or so, and I'm not going to spend that much money for a little pixel sprite. Philip says Rhythm Heaven is a nice tech demo for the DS. I think that's really heavy sarcasm, but I don't know. Then he asks, why do you hate April Fool's Day? Well, generally because I just get annoyed with what people kind of do, the shenanigans people play. So what I mean by that is like today, for example, okay? Oh man, what was I doing today? There are definitely 2 things that happened today that had to do with April Fool's Day that I was, oh yeah. Okay, so I don't know if you guys know about the Lost Media Wiki, but it's a website that is dedicated to finding lost pieces of media, whether that be, for an example, an episode of a TV show that they only showed on TV once, and there are no recordings of it on YouTube, so it's lost. Something like that. Okay, I'm part of that community because I think it's interesting, and I don't know if any of you guys know, but there's this thing called A Day with SpongeBob SquarePants, which is a huge deal or whatever. If you guys care or not, you can go look it up, or you don't have to. But I am one of the leading. Pat Mac, what's up? Glad you could come. There's been a distinct lack of Jack-specific talk, so gonna rely on you for that. But anyway, I'm one of the biggest searchers for this A Day with SpongeBob Lost DVD. And today on Lost Media Wiki, one of the heads of the wiki, or someone who does the content for it, did a new episode of this thing called Lost Media Chronicles or whatever, and he talks about lost media. And he finally did one on A Day with SpongeBob, and I'm thinking, this is cool. Here we are searching for A Day with SpongeBob. It's a big deal. We get someone who does content for Lost Media Wiki making a video on our topic. This is gonna be fun. Let's see, let's see how many facts he gets right, things like that. So I go to click the video to see what he has to say about it. Within the first 10 seconds, he's like, guys, I'm going to talk about a topic that's really important, blah, blah, blah. And the title says A Day with SpongeBob. The rest of the video, after the first 10 seconds, was a YouTube poop, more or less. And I'm just like, and maybe I wouldn't be so pissed off about it, but on the website, oh, Philip, the SpongeBob thing I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm one of the head searchers in it, so there you go. Anyway, the thing about that on the site is that a lot of people are against it, and to me, this just felt like a jab at the people who are trying to find it. They're like, oh, it's just a dumb mockumentary, it's a waste of time, like, stop wasting your time on it, blah, blah, blah. I know it wasn't supposed to be that, but just with the controversy that it has, I just don't think it was needed, because I didn't even think about it being April Fool's Day and having that happen. I thought he was legitimately making a video about it after all this time, and I'm like, that's cool, and no, it was a troll. The second thing I want to point out is, if you guys know the Video Game Memorabilia Museum, if you have not heard about that site, You should check it out because it's all kinds of collectible stuff. It's really great. The forums are great. It's really cool. So check it out if you don't know what it is. But I think most people here probably know what it is. Anyway, that website, I was on it today, and someone posted a thing talking about how the Metro database apparently closed. So, of course, it's early. This all happened like early in the morning, like within the first like half an hour I woke up. So I'm not even thinking it's April Fool's Day or whatever. And I go to the Metro database, and when I click the link, and the Metro database, it's like, oh, blah, 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 like Metro database is closed. And it's like, oh man, that sucks because I used the Metro database for like all my Metroid videos. I definitely use that as a source. And I'm like, oh man, the Metro database is shutting down. I'm like, that sucks. Like why did it just shut down randomly? That was the thing, is they said, just we had to shut down just, like kind of like on the spot. And I'm like, oh, that sucks. And then I read farther down though, and people pointing, stuttering again. People were pointing out like, oh, their sincere farewell message doesn't seem so sincere. It seems more like a joke. And then I read further down on the person who posted the original link, and they're like, oh, edit, by the way, to this post. It's April Fool's Day. This is probably a joke. And I'm like, oh, like, damn it, it is. Just, I wasn't even thinking. It's just an excuse a day for people to troll and get away with it. That's the thing. And it just bugs me. Pat Max says his quality April Fool's Day joke just went up. I think I know what it is. But anyway, I guess something like you, Pat Mac, because it's not. See, and that's the difference. Is that something like your video, Pat Mac? It's kind of like, it's like a joke. It's a joke on purpose. No one's kind of getting like, I mean, it's like more like a joke than an actual. Than an actual prank. But to close a website or to make a fake video with a clickbait title, if I know it was YouTube poop, I wouldn't have clicked it. So, just, I don't know. I gotta get back to these comments. Philip says, I know that SpongeBob, oh, yep, okay, and he thinks it's fake. Well, I have a lot of reasons why I disagree with you. But I'll get to those in a second. Mario says, I'm back from bringing Chinese food up 30 flights of stairs. Nice. Chinese food is good. Philip says, do I have the link for the SpongeBob movie YouTube poop? No, just go on the Lost Media Wiki, the new Lost Media Wiki, and just scroll down on the page, and it's like a big video. You'll see it. And just click it, and it's not really a YouTube poop. It's kind of just like a random clip show, but I don't know. And then Pat Max says, funnily enough, there was a Day with SpongeBob amiibo in your new video. I'm gonna find that one and comment that it's my favorite. So anyway, the thing with the Day with SpongeBob, I won't spend a lot of time on this, but I just will point it out because, like I said, I'm one of the like biggest searchers in it. I've been with it way before it got popular. I'm an OG Day with SpongeBob. Anyway, the reason why I don't think it's fake is because, for the most part, I'm trying to think about how it depends on your definition of fake. Okay. For us personally, we have found more than enough proof that would suggest it was made. Okay. Now the thing is, we can't really prove that it was, but we have more than enough proof that would suggest it was. Regardless about that, we have actually confirmed that a script was written for the movie. We confirmed a script was written. So even if the movie itself is fake, whatever, blah, 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 like whatever is fake, there was a script confirmed to be written, which is a, tangible item. So that would be the goal if there is no physical movie or digital movie or whatever. So, like I said, it depends on what your definition of fake is, but the whole thing isn't just like, oh, it doesn't exist. It was just a mock-up box art that doesn't exist. Now, there's a little bit more to it. If you're really interested in it, you can go through the forums on the Lost Media Wiki and read through what's been happening. Shiganian says, a subreddit I go to made all the text blurry for April Fool's Day. You can't even try to pass that off as a prank or whatever. Yeah, it's like a troll. Like, why would you just destroy a website like that? Like, it's not funny. Philip says, why would you be looking for a bootleg SpongeBob movie though? Oh, the question we get asked all the time. At this point, I'll be honest, it's more like a "I told you so" thing, where so many people deny its existence, think that the search for it is stupid, think we're wasting our time, that we want to find it to show these people, no, it did exist, we were right, like this is what it is, and it's real. Aside from just that, lost media hunting is a hobby in general. It's just another type of thing to do it's just a thing to do online. Because you could argue, well, why search for anything lost? Like, what's the point of finding, a pilot to a show? The show's already aired. The show's are like Johnny Bravo. There's the Johnny Bravo pilot that looks really cool. There's only one screenshot from it. But you could argue, Johnny Bravo's from the 90s. The series is over. The creator doesn't even do the show anymore. Why bother looking for the pilot? But it's just fun to do. And the Bootleg SpongeBob movie is just a part of that. But like I said, a lot of it is like I told you so. Oh, egg salad, you're here. Hey, what's up? For April Fools, I sent my friends who were really into the Avengers a picture of Robert Downey Jr. with R.I.P. as my message at midnight, and it was pretty fun. That's something I guess I wouldn't really condone, but I guess you did it to your friends, so it's all in good fun. I'm surprised I didn't hear about more of those on the news, fake deaths and stuff. Usually that's like on the news. Mario says, it was worth the fried wontons. Nice. I'm usually a wings or the teriyaki on a stick things. And fortune cookies, those are good too. Pat Mac says, I've been subbed to that Lost Media Chronicles channel for a while, and doesn't that get a lot of hate? At least that suicide footage video got tons of hate. I could understand, actually, I'm not even super familiar with the suicide footage thing. I just heard about it. I actually didn't know that the channel as a whole got a lot of hate, to be honest. But I guess this is just more reason why it would get hate. I don't really have any sympathy for it, I guess, if they're going to pull this crap. Because, like, everyone thought that it was clickbait. The, like, dislike bar was destroyed. I feel like you could argue that, though, for most lost media things. You could think that, like, oh, well, like, even for me sometimes, well, I try not to make videos clickbaity, but I could imagine someone clicking on one of my lost media things and thinking they're going to see the episode, and then, although I guess what I do is a little bit different than the Lost Media Chronicles, but yeah, I guess I can kind of see that. Jax G says, I got to get going in a bit, but I wanted to ask about the Comic-Con situation because I might want to come to hang out for a bit. When are you there? Well, now, I'm there from 10 in the morning until 6 at night. Yeah, it's an all-day thing. That'd be really cool if you dropped by. Whether or not you bought anything, I wouldn't even care. Just the fact that you dropped by, because I imagine most of the day is going to be me and Chris sitting there and, playing with our DSs or whatever. I might bring my DS. Because I don't know what to expect. I don't know, anything about how well my models are going to sell or whatever. So I'm there from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So anytime there. I don't know where I'm going to be situated, though I can't give you an area. I guess you're just going to have to go walk around the floor because it's first come, first serve for spaces tomorrow. So I'm going to try and get there somewhat early. But, even if I get there early, I don't necessarily want to be right at the front of the place, maybe a little in the back. So, but that'd be cool if you were going to show up. That'd be awesome. Pat Mac, the video has like 200,000 views and tons of dislikes. Lol. Yeah, like I said, I guess something like that is a little bit more controversial, and I don't know. I don't even have sympathy, to be honest. Pat Mac Custom Amiibo Showcase Volume 0 is 100 views. Let's go. How many views does your the Showcase 15 have? I forget how many it had. I think it had about 600 when I watched it. And yeah, I'd be curious to know how many it has now. By the way, we're up to 6 viewers. Someone refresh me as well. What's the record for viewers? Because I don't remember. I want to say 18, but I think that's way too high. It used to be 8. I think 12. It might be 12. I think 12 was the max viewers we hit. 12, 14 maybe. I think it was between 12 and 14. Jack C says, "All right, see you later then. Maybe I'll check out your vid, see if there's one I want to buy." All right, cool. I do have to post that later. Pat Mac says I think it has like 1.4K views. Okay, that's a good amount for like 2 days. Egg Salad says, did you hear about the animation software OpenToonz being free now? It's apparently what Studio Ghibli used, but I don't know if the freeware version has all the same capabilities. Probably not. I actually had no idea. I don't know anything about that, but wow, that sounds so cool though. I gotta check that out now, or at least tell my brother who's into animation about that, because that sounds really cool. That's definitely something he would probably like using, even if it's just basic. If it looks like better than a Flash, then he'd probably be into it. I mean, he's really into Studio Ghibli and that kind of thing. So thanks for letting me know about that. That sounds really cool. The Studio Ghibli movies are amazing. I've seen a lot of them. Probably I don't know how many they made, but I don't know. I've seen quite a few of them. Good old days of Toonami. I think that's how I was exposed to them actually, through Toonami. They had their month of Miyazaki. Or either that or Cartoon Network just showed Spirited Away some other time before, because that was the first one I watched, I think, and it was really good. I don't even think I was really into, like, back when I saw it, I probably wasn't like super into anime, but I remember thinking it just looked so good. I gotta watch all those. Maybe I'll do that. Either closer to summer or I don't know, sometime soon. I should just watch one of their movies a week and just watch through all of them. Because thinking about Spirited Away and like the ones I've seen Spirited Away, I've seen My Neighbor Totoro, I've seen, oh man, I know there, Castle in the Sky, I think. These are so long ago, I couldn't even tell you anything that happened in any of them except Spirited Away because I've just seen that one the most out of all of them. I remember Princess Mononoke was really violent, and back when they showed that on Toonami, I was like really little, so I couldn't even stand watching it because it was so violent and it was really gory. But nowadays, I'd probably like it a little bit more. I remember watching some of Nausicaa because that was another thing they showed on um on Toonami. Um I don't know why I was like couldn't remember Toonami's name. I thought there was another one I saw like in the theaters or something, but maybe not. Um, Man, yeah. I always see them when I go to Best Buy. I always see the Studio Ghibli movies. I've seen a lot of movies in Best Buy from Studio Ghibli that I've never even seen before that I didn't even know existed. Like, I think Grave of the Fireflies was that one. Um, what was the other one? I know there were a couple other ones that I've seen. I gotta look at a list and like go through all of them. Some of them are really interesting just from the titles alone. Excel agrees the visuals are always impressive. Yeah. Oh, the one I was thinking of was The Wind Rises. I was going to see that. That's what I was thinking. I was going to see it because I think it was like only in the theaters for a couple months or not months, a couple weeks, I think. I don't remember, but I remember it was in a theater close to me, so I wanted to go see it, but I never ended up seeing it. And then there were a couple others that were in a theater a couple towns over that I had no chance of seeing because I wasn't gonna go over for like 1 or 2 days. Like, or I mean, I wasn't going to drive over for a movie event that was only going to last 1 or 2 days. So, and Mario congratulated Pat Mac on hitting 3K subs. I'm guessing Pat Mac is closer to 4,000 though. I want to pre-congratulate Pat Mac on 4,000. Ed's World has ended, or should I say, Ed Mario. Is it an anime? Because I don't even know what that is. So you'll have to explain. If it's an anime, I'm out of the anime loop, so I wouldn't even know. Ooh, 742. I'm really feeling it tonight. I didn't even mean to meme. Um, but I'm thinking we'll go till 8:15. Well, I think we'll definitely stop by 8:30, but 8:30 I think will be the definite end because I have to do oh wow, I have a couple more things I have to do for Comic-Con tomorrow, so 8:30 will definitely be the cutoff. if it's not 8:15, but we'll go for another half an hour. That's good. I'm feeling it tonight. The topics are flowing and stuff. And I only have a few more things to do. I have to finish one pre-colored model. I have to finish a painted model. I have to do a couple drawings, and I have to find a box. I think that's it. And then make the video, which, depending on what time it is, might not be on until like 2 a.m. or something. I don't know though. I'll try and get it on. I need to finish the other model. Actually, no, I guess I could just. Well, no, I kind of need to finish everything because I have to take group shots for my portfolio and stuff. So I can't just like show things like half finished. I need to take a full photo shoot. So yeah, I think. What did I say? I'm yawning. I think there are actually 22 brand new models I sculpted you guys have never seen before. And then there are 4. Or wait. Oh, well, then there may only be 21. Because I guess there are 4 I've shown before. But I mean, a lot of people probably haven't even seen them. So that, you guys are probably thinking, you guys will probably think they're new anyway. But I guess 21 is actually the most. I wish I had another week to sculpt and another box of clay, because I could probably make about 10 more. Just the biggest issue with this Comic-Con is that like, I was going really strong at the beginning of the month. I didn't get in when registration first opened up on like March 1st. Like, I sculpted like 10 models or so, or 2, 4, 6, 8. Maybe, I'm actually not even sure. 8, I don't know. Sculpted between 10 and 8 the last week of February. March 1st came up, which was the registration date. I didn't end up getting in to register, so I wasted the whole rest of the month not doing anything, because I'm like, well, I'm not probably going to get in anyway, so I'm not going to sculpt for the rest of March. Then March 18th came. I got one of the last 2 spots after refreshing the page for the whole day. And then what had to happen is I had to really kick it into overdrive and sculpt from March 18th until now, which was really cramming it, but I'm really cramming it, but I really couldn't do anything else about it. And that kind of goes along the lines of, shulk memeing. I was going to sell some tutorial models and stuff like that, but I just decided not to, because I didn't think it was the right thing to do. And I don't know. It's a really big effort. Mario says, Ed's World is an animated web series made by the now late Ed Gould and friends. After he passed in 2012, his buds and a bunch of others teamed up to create Ed's World Legacy, which took place from 2012 to 2016. He died of cancer. Oh, well, that's kind of, I guess it's kind of sad, but it's cool to know that, his friends picked up what he left behind. But I guess it kind of sucks that now it's over. I don't really know anything about it, but like, other than what you just told me, but sounds interesting. Patmax says he's been a fan of Ed's World for 5 years. He remembers the day that video went up. I think the end was just an ending to Ed's World Legacy era, though, and more episodes may come later. Or at least I think that's the case. And Mario says maybe. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. I mean, it kind of sounded familiar, but not to any extent where I act like, straight up knew what you guys were talking about. I guess that's just the whole, not to generalize animated web series, but just, I guess I'm just not really into those kind of things. I mean, I know it sounds really generic and whatever, but Pat, when you tell me to watch all those fan-made trailers and stuff, and how Mario Bros. Z was coming back and stuff, I was just I just never watched that stuff way back when it was happening. I don't know, I just never really watched it. It's kind of weird to say, but just I guess just the fan aspect of that kind of stuff I just never really watched. I don't really know what I used to watch on YouTube way back when those things were popular, like Mario Bros. Z and stuff. But I mean, like nowadays, it's largely like if it's something Nintendo related, it's either like I don't know, like some kind of like facts about the Game Boy or like more presentational videos, not so much fan creations, so to speak. Mario says to look it up. He thinks I like it. All right, after the stream, I'll give it a look. Then he flipped out. Wait, Super Mario Bros. Z is coming back? No one told me. Yeah, I think Pat Mac said it was coming back. I think he told me it was coming back. But I mean, I wouldn't know, I guess. Other than me remembering what he told me. The sun's set now. It's dark in this room, and now it's making me tired. Oh, Pat Mac. Yeah, I mean, the first episode. I'll go check it out. All caps. Yeah, weren't they doing a crowdfunding campaign that Nintendo shut down or something? I read that somewhere. Pat Mac also Sonic Nazo Unleashed is getting a sequel. Yeah, that's one of the things I know you told me to look up. Was that? Oh man, I'm gonna have to plug this in soon because it's gonna die. Probably go. What does it say? 30 minutes. All right, we got time. Mario says my early childhood was both of those. That's just so weird because like my early childhood didn't even involve the internet. I don't think the internet was around my early childhood. Like seriously, it's so weird. Like or not weird, but it's just cool. Like your childhood was like internet fan series, and then like mine didn't even involve the internet. I don't even remember the first time the first time I really got online was like late 2000s. But before that, I had a really big like desktop computer, but I don't remember how often I really used it, or if I or when I really used it, what years it was. I know for a fact I didn't go online a whole lot. It was mostly just playing like CD-ROM games, like Pajama Sam and stuff. My online presence was really non-existent until the late 2000s. Mario says, "I'm 14. Why am I feeling nostalgia?" That's awesome. Nostalgia. You have nostalgia for anything. Let me reposition myself in this chair. But yeah, that's cool. And then Mario says, "Ooh, Pajama Sam. Yeah, quality games. Quality game, Pajama Sam." Pat Mac says, "I see that VGM didn't do an April Fool's Day joke. 'Tis a shame. They actually kind of did on the general lobby discussion or whatever it's called, that area. Nightran made a thread about, I forget what it was called, but you click it anyway. It brings you to the VGM Facebook group, and he changed it so instead of it being just like a collecting group, he changed it so it's like an 80s throwback kind of thing. So he did that, but yeah, the site didn't do it. I remember that year when the site made like the background was red and there were all kinds of like hate topics and stuff. That was funny. Must have gotten like a solid 7 new posts from that, like to add to my post count. Philip says he came back from Pat Mac's videos, or his April Fool's Day video. I'll definitely watch that because I want to comment the Day with SpongeBob one. Mario says, LSSQ, you shaped my hobbies. Thank you. Well, no problem. Glad that I could have inspired you, or glad that Glad that I could inspire you. Could have. Anyway, you're welcome. I'm glad that my videos are are still resonating enough in people to um, to have them tell me that they either started scolding because of me, or I shape their hobbies, or they appreciate my work. So that's awesome. That's something good that came out of making the videos and stuff that I don't even think about. Like when I do YouTube and stuff now, it's well, I guess back in the day it was more just for fun, but I never would have really thought that anybody would have been inspired by that kind of thing. And nowadays I just do it to pretty much get a portfolio out there for you know like people at conventions and people I meet out in public who are in the art field, for them to see. I never even really think about the impact it has on just the regular viewers that I have, my regular subscribers. So that's awesome. I appreciate that. And then Mario says, I think you got me into Mother also. When? How did I do that though? I don't even have any Mother videos, do I? What have I ever made that was Mother? I don't even know. I don't even know anything. Oh, oh. For a second, I thought I didn't unmute my mic. Where do I type this? Whoa! I thought all that I didn't have my mic on. Oh my god. Okay, so yes, I am still on Philip. I don't know what the issue is. And then Pat Mac's video is funny. I'll have to check that out. Mario said you were going through old drawings. Um. Oh no, technical difficulties. Okay, so Mario, I don't remember ever going. I don't remember ever drawing. Oh, I think was it that one where it was like when it was like some like kind of like binder pictures or something, and I drew that picture, and it had yep, you used Earthbound drawings for a folder. Yep, that's what it was. That yeah, it was exactly that, because that's the only that must be the only picture of Earthbound I ever drew. So if that picture got you into love, then that's awesome, because I used it for my binder picture, and I don't know, it's just so obscure. So that's awesome. You're right. It was the folder. Philip says it works now. All right, good. I freak out when stuff like lag happens, because I think it's coming from my end or something. But okay, so it worked. I guess depending on how good you're in it though, or whatever, there might be like a lag, from when I say something to actually when you guys hear it. But I guess it might vary. Pat Mac says, throughout the video, letters and numbers popped up, and if you put them in a YouTube URL after the watch portion, you get to a really great video. Oh man, it's a scavenger hunt like what the Sonic Twitter did. All right, I'll have to scavenger hunt your video when I have free time. I will definitely do that. I wonder what this pretty great video is. Is it another meme? Probably leads to a meme. I always thought it was really cool to put hidden stuff in my videos and stuff, and then you know have it lead to a secret area. Well, I guess I have that secret. secret videos playlist, but I don't know. Pat Mac says Custom Amiibos Showcase Volume 0 has hit 200 views. Nice. Mario asked, have I played Little Big Planet before? And I knew it was Little Big Planet before you even typed it out. No, I haven't. I have not played that game. I don't. Well, my brother has a PS3, but I really don't use it at all. So otherwise, like, I wouldn't even be exposed to PlayStation at all. So no, I haven't played it. I've heard good things about it. I heard that I guess Sackboy is kind of like Sony's mascot a little bit. I know they kind of have a bunch of different mascots, but and there were 3 Little Big Planets, I think. So yeah, I haven't played it. I probably won't play it, but I don't know. Looks interesting. I don't know. I don't really have a whole lot to say about it. I think it's like a sandbox game though, right? Which is one of those game genres I'm not a huge fan of, but I've seen some really cool things people have done with it in the past before. And the art style is kind of cool. Pat Mac says his link leads to the biggest letdown of 2016. Oh dang, it's Sonic 06 2. It's a hidden trailer for Sonic 06 2 that Sega leaked to Pat Mac. Philip says Crash is the best Sony mascot. I agree with that, even though I've never even played Crash or Spyro, like anything like that. Saying Cloud is a pretty big Sony mascot. Well, maybe back in the late 90s. I just always think of when I think of Cloud, I usually think of PlayStation. But Crash, I can agree with Crash. But they do have a lot of different like mascots and stuff. They don't really have one. I guess you could argue that the Sony mascots are X, circle, square, triangle. Mario says that it's a platformer with huge emphasis on level creation. Okay, yeah. So level creation is probably something that I wouldn't be super thrilled about because that's why I haven't bought Mario Makers, because I would just be so OCD with the level, so perfectionistic, just ridiculous. And at another point too, I probably wouldn't have enough creativity to really be an asset to the community. Pat Mac said that it's not a Sonic 06 2 trailer. All right. Philip said it's pretty much Mario Maker without Mario. Okay, yeah. So I definitely wouldn't like. The idea is cool, but I definitely probably wouldn't enjoy playing it a whole lot. I guess I could play other people's levels, but I don't know. Just not a Sony guy. So Philip says, "What are your hopes for the Sonic 25th anniversary game?" 2 letters, 1 number. SA3. We've definitely talked about this before on different streams, and I've gone through huge lengths of rants about this and that and the other thing, and whatever. At this point in time, after everything Sega has said and hinted at, and all the hype and everything, Sonic Adventure 3 is my hope. I want it to be done exactly in the style of Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, with the power-ups and a Chow Garden, which debatably might not happen, but I want a good story, the different power-ups, different playable characters, gameplay that isn't linear, and pretty much SA1 and 2, but a third version of that. And no, SA3 didn't come out in 2004. You might be thinking of SA2 Battle. That came out in 2000. No, it came out in 2002, I think. So never mind. No. Egg Salad says it's not going to happen. Nah, it's going to happen. I don't think Sega can go back at this point because people are going to riot. This is what I'm saying. Okay, if Sega does not make SA3, oh, Sonic Advance 3. Thanks for that, Pat Mac. At first, I was a little confused. I thought when I said Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, I thought maybe I said Sonic Battle by accident, but okay, Sonic Advance 3. Okay. But I think that if Sega does not do Sonic Adventure 3, I think they're going to end up like Konami and Capcom, where they're going to lose all their fans. They're going to be they're not going to be able to make any money, and all their big people working on the franchise are just going to leave because Sonic will have nothing left. So, that's what I think. Philip says SA3 had Sonic Tails, Knuckles, Amy Cream. Yeah, I have Sonic Advance 3, actually. I did. I never thought that Sonic Advance 3, Sonic Advance 3. Man, now whenever I see SA3 things, I'm always going to think of Advance. Man, now I'm going to get confused online when I see that, or at least I'm going to be thinking of it. Pat Max said, after Big's Big Fishing Adventure 3 actually being a game, who knows? Fair enough, but I still think it has to be SA3 because if it's not Adventure 3, then no. Man, I'm gonna have to plug this in. Okay, I had to plug that in. Okay, Egg Salad said they've already made so many bad decisions with keeping the Sonic Boom games going, so I really don't have a ton of confidence in them. See, I was thinking that those few months ago, but at this point, I've kind of changed my tone because I don't think they have a choice. With all these old developers coming in, just all these hints at SA3 happening. I don't know. I have to give them. It's not that I have faith in Sega, but I just don't think they're stupid enough to throw this away. Pat said, I'd be fine with a good new modern Sonic game. If it's just a classic 2D game with nothing but nostalgia, I'd be pretty disappointed. If it's not SA3, I'm going to be disappointed. I don't care if it's. I don't care. Okay, the only time I would be fine with it is if it was SA3, but they called it some other kind of weird thing, but it played exactly like an adventure game. That's the only time I would be okay with it. But even that, why would you not call it SA3? It already has name recognition. Philip says, I actually want a Sonic prequel. That would be interesting, huh? Egg Salad said, but it probably won't end up being as bad as what Microsoft did to Conquer. I'm trying to recall what exactly they did with him. I don't know enough about Conquer's Bad Fur Day, Conquer. No, or what they. Oh, Conquer Live and Reload. I don't know enough about Conquer, I guess. Mario, and then we'll get a spiritual successor to Sonic that'll get kickstarted. We do not speak of that. Oh man, that would suck if it went to Kickstarter and it wasn't even a real thing. Is Mighty Number 9 even out yet? But yeah, that would be terrible, I think. Philip, don't even get me started in Pat Mac. Yeah, that's literally what I want. Yeah, because thinking about how Mega Man is dead and Mighty Number 9 is a replacement, yeah, I mean that'd be like Sonic's dead and then there's a no. I just cannot imagine Sonic dying from. I mean, like, I'm not saying it can't happen, but I just don't think it's. I don't want to see Sonic die. I guess what I'm saying. Mario says Mighty Number 9 isn't out. Oh, okay. Thought it maybe was out at like this point, but I know they delayed it. I thought they maybe fixed the issue by now, but well then. Pat Max said there's going to be a new mobile Mega Man game this year, at least. Really? Well, that sucks, but I guess it's better than nothing. And a new Mega Man show coming next year. It'll probably be lame, but Mega Man's coming back, or at least Pat Mac thinks. Yeah, I am just not a huge fan of that idea of Mega Man coming back in the form of a show and a mobile game before he gets a real legit game. Dude, I wish Maverick Hunter was a real game or that it was revived. There's going to be like a Mega Man first-person shooter done by Retro in the style of Metroid Prime. It looks so sick. I wish they ended up making that, or reviving it at least. Mega Man Boom, let's go. Exactly, Pat Mac. Egg Salad said, they recently made a trailer for the HoloLens for Young Conqueror, and his redesign is really bad, and they're just shoving him into a game for his name recognition. Oh, okay, the HoloLens thing. Yeah, I saw a screenshot of that. Kind of going back to Paper Mario, I'm just not a, well, I guess even less of a point than Paper Mario. I don't really know anything about Conqueror, don't really care about Conqueror at all, but okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I get what you guys are saying. Philip says, poor Mega Man hasn't had a new game since Mega Man 10. Oh, yeah. Mega Man 10. How long ago was that? Was that like late 2000s? Mega Man Legacy Collection, technically. And there's Rockman X Over. Well, that was a horrible mobile game, and that was the worst. And Mega Man X was ported to phones that sucked. Wow. I didn't know they even butchered that much. That's depressing. Philip says, didn't not Pat Mac, Pac-Man. Didn't Pac-Man get a show reboot, but it was awful? Yeah, it was Pac-Man and the Pac Adventures in the Ghostly something. Or yeah, it was horrible. They made it like a kid's show. It did get a reboot. I don't even know if it's around anymore. They made toys and stuff too, but I don't even know if they're still making those. No one wants to remember that. Let's see. Mega Man X on phones was a joke. Pat Mac. Oh, and there's Rockman Go-Go, which came out in early 2015, I think. Mobile again. I haven't even heard of a lot of these mobile games. That's weird. But it sounds like they all suck, so it doesn't surprise me I haven't heard of them. Alright, guys, so it's 8:10. We're going to wrap things up in 5 minutes. So just any final thoughts or whatever. And then I'll get to making that video, which will be on later tonight for you guys to watch. Mario Ace Attorney on mobile is a joke. I didn't even know that was on mobile. And Pat Mac, Rockman Go-Go was only released in Korea or something. Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's why I haven't heard about it. So much for that. That's why even bother making a game and only releasing it in Korea of Mega Man nonetheless. Pat Mac said, when later tonight? Since I'm going to have, well, okay, so this is going to end at 8:15. I have to finish sculpting them, or yeah, finish sculpting them all. Painting. I'm going to say probably around, I'm going to say by 10. Around 10 or at 10 or by 10. 10 o'clock is the time to look for, because at that time, I think things should be, I should be able to finish things definitely within an hour. Then by the time I put everything together in a video and upload it, it should be on around 10. Give or take like 15 minutes, around 10, but that general area. So there you go. I think I'm kind of going to abandon the idea of having it be a throwback to the first clay models, though, because there's like 25 models or whatever. And I think it would be way too long, because even if I spent, like I would have to spend like 10 seconds on a model. I think that the write-up would be too short. People would have to be pausing the video and stuff. And you know what? I don't even have time to do write-ups on them, because I have to get everything together for tomorrow, and I have to play the Pokken Tournament demo on my Wii U, which is really important. And I do a lot of other things. So, oh, Philip says it's 7:10 where I'm at. Oh, okay. Well, then it's 8:12 where I'm at, or 8:10 or whatever. Okay, so it would be on around 9 for you, I think. Yeah, because it would be an hour behind. So for you, Philip, look around 9:15, around that area. Pat Max says, dude, OMG, people in my comments are analyzing all the hidden stuff. This is great. That's awesome. You're a true Aaron Weber, Pat Mac. Good job. Philip says, my first Sonic clay model is the best. Well, thanks. It's gotten some other, I was going to say that it's mostly gotten hate, so thanks for liking it. I think it's gotten a couple other likes before too, though. But I know some people have just straight up called it out as terrible. So thanks for that, Philip. My first Sonic model is definitely charming, and like I said in the in-depth series video, you know, without that start, you know, he was the first of his kind. He pretty much started all the. Well, he did start the video game collector model, but I mean, he was a first for a lot of different reasons. So that's really cool. All right, so a couple more minutes, then I'm gonna end it. Oh, and then Philip says, like, my first Sonic model is the best. Like, the first Scooby-Doo has a certain charm to it. Yeah, first Scooby-Doo. I was never really big into Scooby-Doo, but yeah, I know those. Oh man, I get exactly what you mean, though, Philip. I get that. Pat Mac, are you going to be on Skype later, or will you be recording the video? Probably going to be on Skype because I want to stay up to date. I'm supposed to be playing some Smash tonight as well with some of my friends, so I probably want to stay up to date on that. And the video is just going to be pictures, actually. I'm not going to actually record, so I can just leave it open in the background and just take pictures. Shouldn't be too hard. So yeah, I'll be on Skype. Gosh dang, need to play Pokken Tournament though. I downloaded it like a day ago. Well, I tried to download it yesterday, but it was going to take way too long, and I didn't want to have it run overnight. So then I did it this afternoon, but then I went out, and now I'm back here, but I'm streaming, and then I have to go do the clay. So I need to play Pokken Tournament. Philip, is there a hedgehog? Why did I say that? Oh, because I'm looking at your username. Philip says, I still don't have Pokken. Is there a demo? Yeah, they released a demo on the eShop recently. It was like a couple days ago, I think they released it. Yeah, so you can download the demo. Because I don't plan on buying the game because I'm too involved in Smash and Star Fox is coming out. But I still wanted to play it and stuff. I wanted a little more hands-on time. I played it at Target once, maybe a couple weeks ago, but I wanted some more hands-on time with it at home. So I wanted to download it, and I just haven't had the time to play it. I don't know if they have all the same characters. I don't know if it's if they added like a versus mode to this demo, which would be really cool. I don't know if they have all the same characters as Target. I think Target had Pikachu, Charizard, Lucario, and Gengar. I think those were the 4 playable characters. I might be forgetting one. Maybe not, but I actually liked Pikachu the most. I used Gengar. He's just way too hard to play as. Charizard was fun, but he seems really OP. And the second time I used him, I actually got my butt kicked. Then when I used Pikachu, I was feeling really good with Pikachu, so I like Pikachu a lot in that game. I wanted Gengar to be my main though if I ever picked it up, but he's way too technical. And like I said, if I ever pick it up, it would probably be just for casual purposes because I just don't have time to invest in Pokken as well as Smash. I go to Smash tournaments and stuff. That's how much time I played Smash and, you know, dedicate to the game, so I can't balance 2 fighting games at the same time. All right, well, with that said, guys, I'm going to call it here. So thanks for watching. I'll have the video up around 10 o'clock my time, 9 o'clock Philip's time. So until later on, thanks for watching. I'm El Supersonic Q. Finn.